All brought to you by Camille Tedrick of Remax Choice, the 217 home team in Clinton.
MR Systems Wireless is your local internet provider for Clinton and surrounding area. They have the products you want and the local service you deserve. MR Systems Wireless Internet service for home or business includes unlimited data, unlimited streaming, and unlimited calling. Plans start at just $48 a month and get a free Roku 4Ls with our media packages. Get the speed you need with MR Systems Wireless. Call them at 935-2100. That's 935-2100 for MR Systems Wireless.
If the flu's got you down, the Warner Hospital and Health Services walk-in clinic can help you feel better fast. CEO Paul Skowron inviting you to make us your backup plan to better health. Find out more by clicking our icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
DeWittDailyNews.com is the area's leading local news source 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Get the latest local news, obituaries, police splatter, weather forecast, and more with no paywall. Head to DeWittDailyNews.com to get the local information you need to know.
You're from the Central Illinois, WHOW.
Top of the morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. We've got the Brain Trust in with us today. Clinton Mayor Helen Michelassi and Tony Harris, City Administrator. Good to see you guys. How we doing?
Good morning, Seth.
Thanks for coming out. Yeah, thanks for coming out and talking with us. And I'll tell you what, I had Kurt Homan in. I know you guys work very closely with Kurt at DeWitt County Development Council, and we were recapping 2025, and it dawned on me, 2025 was a real banner year for them. You could probably say the same for the city of Clinton, because a lot of what they do intertwines with what you all do. How about that, Tony, to get us started?
Yeah, I've mentioned that several times on the show that, the relationship between DCDC and the city of Clinton and myself and Kurt Homan, it's a great relationship. And we work together on lots of different projects, housing projects, economic development, new businesses. And I think that's what, I think that's why we've had such a banner year, that partnership, working together. Anytime I take a phone call of a possible new business, or just, anyone asking questions, I meet with them, and then we set up a meeting with DCDC as well, and kind of a dual meeting at that point. So, it's been a great year, and it's that partnership is great, and we're going to continue with that throughout the new year.
Yeah, for sure. I think the business piece of it is really where it stands out. Quick Wall coming to town, the Meyer Industry announcement, the Constellation Meta deal that was announced over the summer. How much? I know the Constellation Meta stuff was kind of just, we were in the news with that one more than a lot of folks locally had much to do with that. But how about the other side of that, Tony? The Quick Wall, the Meyer Industry. How much did the city get involved in those types of things with the DCDC?
Well, I remember my very first week here. I didn't even know Kurt Homan, and I think it was my second day on the job. He came in and we met, and he said, "Hey, by the way, we've got a new business coming in, Quick Wall," and he had been working on that, I think, a couple of weeks prior to me taking the position. So I didn't have a whole lot of involvement in getting them here, but I picked up that very first week with Kurt, and we worked through that. And then it wasn't too long during the summer. That's when the rep from Myers showed up in my office and started asking some questions, and I got DCDC involved in that, and it just kind of migrated to where it is today.
Sure. Isn't that fun? They just walk in your office and they want to come to Clinton.
They do.
If it only was that easy, right?
And it's good that we didn't go and solicit these two, but we did once we knew that they wanted to be here. We opened the door, and we put out the red carpet, and we did everything that we could do to make it very interesting for them to be here.
So what's that going to mean for the city, Tony? What do you think?
Well, there's some things that we have to work through right now. We had a meeting last week and found out that the truck traffic coming through town is going to be an issue on that south side of the city there on Jemima Street. So we've got some work to do there. and we have
like
this
improve
work-
the street
improve
itself.
the streets. We're not
Wow.
sure exactly how that's going to work out. We're looking at a couple of different options. So, again, it's great for the city of Clinton to have them here, but we've got some work to do on our end too to welcome them in. And we want it to be safe too, with a number of trucks coming through the city there. We want to make sure that's safe. So we are working on that. Trying to figure out the best and safest place to route those trucks.
Sure. Of course, Mrs. Mayor, then that ushers in the Meta and Constellation announcement, and just what a great thing that's going to mean for Clinton and DeWitt County.
Well, to know that for 20 years we're going to have that tax-based support is important, but it's also, I think, important to note that it's a great agreement with Meta. We didn't have anything to do with that agreement, obviously, as it stands. But they chose to stay here and keep working here. And that says a lot about the potential workforce and the workforce they've garnered from this area. And certainly from Clinton, and that Clinton is a big supporter of that power plant.
Sure.
So when we say we didn't really have anything to do with Meta and Constellation, but the people who live here, run businesses here, work here, own houses here, they influence greatly whether a company wants to stay or go. And that was their choice. They didn't have to renew for 20 years here. So I hope the people in Clinton know that they do play a part. They are connected to the good things that are happening, right? We have a great library, and that pulls people in. We have a workforce here ready, willing, smart, and able to go to work. So when we say, yep, the city did this and Kurt does this and all this works, but everybody who lives here also plays a part in that.
That they do for sure. And Mrs. Mayor, I know that 2025 was really kind of your first taste of leadership in terms of the mayor's chair and those sorts of things. How you feeling about things at this point?
I was thinking last night after the meeting that it's been about 8 months, and somebody told me it's 6 months. Well, how do you feel? Isn't this great? I think you're doing a really good job. I said, well, I've only done it 6 months. Let's wait and see
Right.
what happens here.
Yeah.
But 8 months in, I can tell you, I'm really proud and pleased with the work that's been done so far. And I say that meaning all of this city council that comes together, and certainly the staff. I mean, I walk in City Hall and I know the best of the best is sitting in a chair. If you have a question, you say, I need this, I'm wondering or worried about that, somebody in that building is going to be able to answer that.
Sure.
So I think we've done well my first 8 months. I'm very excited about what's coming up in the coming year as well.
Yeah. Tell you what, we'll get to the new year on the other side of the break, but I want to ask you what. I know strategic planning has been a big piece for you. Obviously, again, accomplishments of the Quick Wall and the Meyer industry and those sorts of things. What are you most proud of in terms of what's happened in your first 8 months?
I would say certainly business development and growth, but also the new ordinance review and implementation of new ordinances that helps clean things up. That has been a long needed process to start, and it has started and moved forward honestly a little quicker than I thought it could have.
Yeah.
So
and
that makes a big difference.
Sure. Tony, strategic planning, I know you and Helen have worked closely together. It's looked big stuff I think is to come. I think a water tower, city hall, police station, I think that's to come, but the strategic planning has taken on kind of baby steps in a way. Do you mind speaking to that a little bit?
Yeah, I wasn't here last year, neither was Helen when the strategic plan was developed, but we got a copy of it. My first day on the job, I got a copy of it, and
memorize this.
We've made some good progress in a short amount of time with that, and one being just to bring up one being the electronic forms, things like that we're going to make available on the website, like one being building permits. If you're going to build a new house or put a fence up, those are going to be here in a short amount of time. Those will be available online and can be submitted online rather than coming to City Hall and submitting a paper application. So,
sure.
And that's all part of it too. And we're almost there on that. And there's a housing inspector, we crossed that off the list. So we've still got a long way to go on that, but we have made some good progress on that.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yes.
I should probably bring this up in the 2026 discussion. A no solicitors form at City Hall. We should look into that. I know Lincoln's doing it. Monticello's doing it. There's little towns across the area. We should look into that. Just a suggestion.
We do. We have that now. It's a
do you really?
It's a paper form. Yeah, there's a process, and we they have to fill out the application. It goes down to Chief Lowers, and he does his side of it to make sure that
no. Like for residents that don't want those people coming by their house.
Oh, I got you. I'm sorry.
Put in the door like they have another.
Like no soliciting.
Some have those here now, but they're not city issued. But they're just a little no soliciting.
Yeah, no soliciting type of thing. Yeah, but anyways, I don't know. That's like I said, that's come up with my discussions with like I said, Lincoln and Monticello most recently. But anyways, when it comes to cleaning up the city of Clinton, Tony, I know that's been a big point of emphasis. How about that in 2025?
Well, again, we made some progress there. We just the last 2 weeks, we took down 2 homes that have been standing, abandoned, in bad shape for several years. And one was in the 700 block of South Kane. We got that one taken down, and another on the corner of Elizabeth and Woodlawn. That one's taken down. So kind of how I'm working through this is step by step. And Helen, she's going to talk a little bit about the block by block program, and that kind of goes along with this project that I'm working on. But again, you can tie these things in with economic development too, because I really believe, and I've mentioned this several times, that you have to start with getting the town cleaned up. Getting these abandoned buildings that have sat empty for years, getting those down and make the city of Clinton look attractive to businesses. And I really think that it starts right there, and that's what we're doing. And Helen's got big plans for the block by block.
Well, those who live in the neighborhoods with the abandoned houses too, they have a right to not live in a neighborhood with an abandoned house for 20 years. Their property value, their safety,
goes down
what lives in those houses that runs around the neighborhood. Folks have a right to not have that.
You drive by and you look at that neighborhood now with those 2 abandoned homes down. It just makes the entire neighborhood look so much better
and safer, quite frankly.
And that's why we're doing this.
Right.
Yeah, sure.
Right.
Very good. Very good. On that note, friends, anything from 2025 we missed? Helen, anything from you?
Kiwanis Park. I should mention Kiwanis Park is a really big deal in the Michael J. Reedy playground that has finally done and opened. I drive by that on my way coming and going, and I rarely see it empty. I always see at least one car sitting there and kids playing.
Yep,
so
for sure.
That was a big deal.
That was a big deal. Excellent. I had forgotten about that one. Tony, from you, anything we didn't touch on?
Jackson Street project, a brand new street running from Main Street over to White Street. So very proud of that. Good improvement for the city of Clinton.
Sure. And we continue to see kind of those big projects happen. Center Street was not that long ago. Was it Madison Street? Yeah, was last year before. So a lot of good things happening. All right, friends, let's break here. Come back. We'll talk 2026 and what is coming up for the city of Clinton. That's Mayor Helen Michelassi, City Administrator Tony Harris in studio with us. More to come with them on the morning show.
WHOW.
AgriTalk is the radio talk show for American agriculture. Hi, everybody. I'm Chip Flory, your host. We join you weekday mornings from 10 until 11 on WHOW, on AM and FM, and on the WHOW streams. We provide farmers and ranchers with timely insights and information aimed at improving their operations. Join me, Chip Flory, weekdays at 10:06 on Central Illinois Ag Station, WHOW.
Health isn't just something you think about when you're sick. At the SIU Center for Family Medicine in Lincoln, our doctors care for you through every stage of life. Annual checkups help you stay ahead of problems, keep your family healthy, and build a relationship with a doctor who knows you. Make preventative care part of your routine. Book your annual appointment online today by clicking their icon at DeWittDailyNews.com. SIU Medicine in Lincoln. Forward for you.
Baum Chevrolet Buick offers full transportation options while giving you peace of mind. This is Scott Baum from Baum Chevrolet Buick here in Clinton. This is what we do every day. We listen to you, give you options for routine maintenance, major mechanical problems, or collision repairs with a staff that's knowledgeable to find the best option for you. Baum Chevrolet Buick, your full-service dealer. See us at BaumChevyBuick.com right from the start.
Wellness starts with prevention. Book your annual appointment online today with SIU Center for Family Medicine in Lincoln by clicking their icon on DeWittDailyNews.com.
DeWittDailyNews.com is the area's leading local news source 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Get the latest local news, obituaries, police splatter, weather forecast, and more with no paywall. Head to DeWittDailyNews.com to get the local information you need to know.
Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW.
Once again, good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. My guests in studio this morning, Clinton Mayor Helen Michelassi, City Administrator Tony Harris, as we put a bow on 2025 and move on to 2026, friends. Let's dive into it. Mrs. Mayor, what's your priorities heading into 2026?
Well, I think we're going to continue to work at cleaning up the community. I also am very excited about a program that we're going to call, I think, Block by Block Clinton. And that will be a program where the city will invest a little money and property owners, homeowners can reach out. We'll have an application process. They can be approved. And we will come to their property with volunteers and do things like tearing out bushes and trees, laying down some mulch or ground cover that they need, planting some bushes, basically cleaning up and upgrading their property. And they may not be able to do that themselves physically or economically, but we could come in and do that. I worked with this group in Macon County for a few years. It makes a big difference, and it's really helpful to homeowners.
Yeah. So where does this start? I mean, do we secure funding first? Do we secure volunteers first? How do you get this up and going?
I think we're going to jump in and create an application process, in my opinion. Please remember, I am one of 5 votes on the city council.
Okay. This is something you would need council approval for?
I think if money is being attached to it, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
If we're going to attach money, you do. But if we could just start the application process this spring so that by summer we're actually able to work on some homes, then it is sort of self-fulfilling. And also sometimes businesses and companies like to contribute to the process as well, either through their workforce for a day or financial support.
Sure. Where does, I mean, is this money from like community contributions? Would it be budgeted? How will that work?
I am hopeful it will be budgeted in the city budget for the first year that we can find. Even if we do 5 homes, Seth, this year, even if we had $5,000 and spent $1,000 per home, it would be a great start and a good way to kick it up and going.
Sure.
It could be, block by block could be something simple as just doing cleanup around the house, where all they would need is a dumpster, a few $100s where the city could help with that, and the labor to get it cleaned up. So it could be very minimal cost, but yes, the very first step is trying to get a budget line item. We'll be starting here in a few weeks talking about the next year's budget. So or this year starting May 1st. And
will that be fiscal year 26?
Yes.
26. Yeah,
yes.
Sure. So
starting May 1st.
Yeah. Yes. Budget time right around the corner. Sure. So we'll look forward to that. Would that be, Mrs. Mayor, something where you would designate like weekends too? Would it just be something where like a need comes to you and then you organize it? How does that work?
I think you have an application process. People are approved
because
we say we can help with that. And then it's done often in Macon County, for example. We did it during the week because a company would say, I'm going to let my staff come and help you. We'll pay them to be there to help you for 5 hours.
Sure.
And so you can do a lot of trimming, cutting out, filling a dumpster in 5 hours when you have 15 people. The most we did, I think we did 15 houses in a day in Macon County.
Wow.
With volunteers from local business and financial support from the city.
Yeah.
And mainly it was just hauling things out and hauling truckloads of brush.
Well, and not everybody has to spend the same amount or spend all their time at one place.
That's right.
You can be mobile and that sort of thing.
Absolutely.
Sure. So would that be something that would come into play with the new budget year? Would you like to see something maybe around springtime with spring cleaning and all that? How do you foresee the timeline on this?
If anybody wants to drop $5,000 in my lap as a donation, I will start this as soon as the ground, as soon as the ground thaws. I mean, seriously. But we pragmatically, you have to wait till you have the funding secured to start something like this.
Fair enough.
But if we had $5,000 right now today, we could start when the ground thaws. Seriously, get going.
Yeah. So look forward to that in 2026. Tony, for you, what are some priorities you have coming up this year?
Well, America 250 celebration over the July 4th weekend. We've got a committee together that we're working with. This committee is not, this is not a city sponsored event. It's basically a volunteer committee that's putting this together. We're basically just hosting the location of City Hall for the meetings, but we have a group of young people that's eager to help with this. There's some ideas of a concert, maybe Friday night and Saturday night, different events on I think it's July 3rd on Saturday, different events on the Mr. Lincoln Square. In the very early stages of this, the committee, they meet the first Monday of the month at 6:30 at City Hall. So we're looking for volunteers. If anybody would like to get involved in that, they can come to the meeting and get more details. It's in a very early stages, but we're working our way through it. A good group of volunteers with good ideas. So that we'll be working on that throughout the year. And, I mentioned concerts on the square. That's going to be part of that event, but we're also going to take that a little further. The city is, and we're going to host I'm not sure how many yet, but a concert or two on the square to fill an evening. So looking forward to that. We're in the early stages of that as well.
Sure. Nice. Excellent. I know, Mrs. Mayor, the discussion around City Hall, police, fire, water tower continue. What are your plans for those in 26?
They do. I feel like we're moving a little closer to possibly being able to identify some sites for some of these things. And I have reached out USDA and other funding. I've had some very positive conversations with them in the last 10 days. So I think we're edging closer to being able to say, this is where we want to put it. And we're going to have to figure out how to come up with this much money to make that happen. But I do feel like we're having conversations weekly now with folks about where can they go and with grant funders to see how we may start. I'm hoping the first part of February to start a pre-application process for grant funding.
Okay.
So that and these grant funders will work with, if we do the bond route or do loan program, they will work with that funding source so that we end up with the best deal possible.
Sure.
They've extended, many of the grant funders federally have extended their time from 30 years to 40. We're looking at February. They're going to drop my information I received this week. They're going to drop the interest rate on federal loans probably in February. So it's a great time to be saying, here's what we know we need. We are still working with an architectural firm about what it looks like, what's needed. So I feel like we're inching
closer.
Yeah.
Tony, quickly, 30 seconds, economic development, housing, lodging. How about that for you in 26?
Yeah, we're working on housing. That's trying to identify some land to we're in the very early stages of that. We need investors, we need builders, and just land to develop on. So that will be a good topic as well throughout the new 2026 year.
Well, we'll look forward to it all. Mrs. Mayor, Tony, thanks for coming out and talking with us today. Clinton Mayor Helen Michelassi in studio with us. City Administrator Tony Harris as well. Network news on the way.
WHOW.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. It has been a very busy day for American forces on the high seas. The U.S. now says it has seized 2 sanctioned oil tankers linked to Venezuela. The seizure is coming in back-to-back actions in the North Atlantic and the Caribbean. Could have wound up in the hands of U.S. adversaries, but instead, President Trump says the U.S. will be getting a big shipment of Venezuelan crude, many as 50 million